We've all been there. That feeling in the pit of your stomach. Something just isn't right. You suspect the person you're talking to isn't being completely honest with you. Maybe it's a gut feeling, a hunch, or maybe you've noticed some subtle clues that have set off alarm bells in your mind. It can be difficult to tell if the person opposite you is lying, but you can easily solve it with a few tips. You see, over the years, I've spent countless hours interviewing people, some who were forthcoming and honest, and others who, well, let's just say they had something to hide. And in my line of work, being able to spot a liar is crucial. That's why I'm here to share with you 5 foolproof ways to detect if someone is lying. These are the same techniques used by law enforcement and experts in interrogation, and today, I'm going to break them down for you so you can become a human lie detector. Are you ready? Let's get started. They say the eyes are the windows to the soul, and when it comes to spotting a liar, they can be a dead giveaway. You see, most people find it uncomfortable to maintain eye contact when they're lying. It's a natural human response tied to feelings of guilt, shame, or the fear of being caught. Think about a time when you were a child and you told a lie to your parents. Do you remember how hard it was to look them in the eye? It's the same principle at play here. Liars often avert their gaze, looking down, to the side, or anywhere but directly at you. However, here's where it gets tricky. Some liars overcompensate for this natural tendency by making too much eye contact. They might stare intently, unblinking, almost as if trying to convince you of their sincerity. This too can be a red flag. The key is to look for patterns of eye contact that deviate from the norm. Does the person normally make eye contact easily, or are they generally more reserved? Once you establish a baseline, any significant changes in their eye contact during a conversation can be telling. For example, let's say you're questioning someone about their whereabouts the previous night and they suddenly start avoiding your gaze after confidently meeting your eyes moments before. This sudden shift could indicate that they're uncomfortable with the question and might be trying to hide something. On the other hand, if someone who is typically shy or avoids eye contact suddenly locks eyes with you intensely while spinning a tale, it could be a sign that they're trying too hard to appear truthful, which, ironically, can be just as revealing as avoiding eye contact altogether. Remember, context is key when analyzing eye contact. Consider the person's normal behavior, the subject matter being discussed, and any other nonverbal cues they're exhibiting. By paying close attention to these subtle shifts in eye contact, you'll be one step closer to separating truth from deception. Our bodies have a funny way of betraying our true thoughts and feelings, even when our words are carefully chosen to conceal them. That's why paying attention to body language is crucial when trying to spot a liar. When someone is being truthful, their body language usually aligns with their words. However, when someone is lying, their body language often contradicts what they're saying. For instance, imagine you ask someone if they stole a cookie from the cookie jar, and they respond with a firm no, while shaking their head yes. This inconsistency between their verbal and nonverbal communication is a major red flag. Liars often struggle to control these involuntary movements and gestures. When you observe a cluster of inconsistent body language signals, it's a strong indication that the person might not be telling the whole truth. Chapter 3. The way someone speaks can be just as revealing as their words themselves. When we're nervous, under pressure, or trying to deceive, our speech patterns can change in subtle but noticeable ways. Liars often exhibit telltale signs in their speech, such as pauses, hesitations, and changes in pace. Think about it. When you're telling the truth, the words flow effortlessly. You're confident in your story, and it shows in the natural rhythm and cadence of your speech. But when you're lying, your brain has to work overtime to construct a believable narrative, which can lead to noticeable disruptions in your speech flow. One common sign of deception is frequent pausing. Liars often pause to buy themselves time to think of what to say next, or to fabricate details to make their story more convincing. These pauses can be pregnant with hesitation, as if the liar is carefully considering their next words. Another red flag is a sudden increase in speech rate. When people lie, they sometimes feel a sense of urgency to get the words out as quickly as possible, as if they believe that speaking faster will make their lies more believable. This rapid-fire delivery can be accompanied by stutters, stammers, and jumbled sentences, further betraying their nervousness. In addition to pauses and changes in pace, liars may also engage in verbal fillers such as, like, And, these fillers serve as placeholders while the liar searches for the right words or tries to buy themselves time to think. While everyone uses filler words occasionally, an excessive amount of them, especially during a sensitive conversation, can be a sign of deception. Pay close attention to any sudden or dramatic shifts in someone's speech patterns. If their normally smooth and articulate delivery becomes peppered with pauses, hesitations, or rapid-fire bursts, it could be a sign that they're struggling to maintain their composure while spinning a web of lies. Chapter 4. When it comes to lying, sometimes less is more. Ironically, one of the biggest mistakes liars make is providing too much information. It's as if they believe that by overwhelming you with details, they can bury the truth beneath a mountain of irrelevant facts and figures. Think about it. When you're recounting a true story, you tend to focus on the key events and emotions, providing just enough detail to paint a clear picture. But when you're fabricating a story, you have to invent every single detail, which can lead to overly elaborate and convoluted narratives. Liars often feel the need to over-explain themselves, offering up unnecessary details and justifications in an attempt to make their stories more believable. They might provide specific times, dates, and locations, even when such details aren't relevant or requested. This oversharing can be a sign that they're trying too hard to convince you of their sincerity. Another tactic liars employ is to introduce extraneous characters into their stories. They might mention running into an old friend at the grocery store, or having a lengthy conversation with a telemarketer, even though these encounters have nothing to do with the matter at hand. These fabricated interactions are often attempts to add layers of complexity to their stories, making them seem more credible. However, this overabundance of detail can actually backfire, making the liar's story more difficult to follow and remember. The human brain is wired to detect inconsistencies, and when a story is overloaded with unnecessary information, it becomes easier to spot the cracks in the facade. If you suspect someone is lying, pay attention to the level of detail they provide. Are they offering up specific information that hasn't been requested? Are their stories excessively long and convoluted? If so, it could be a sign that they're trying to bury the truth beneath a mountain of fabricated details. Chapter 5. Our voices are remarkably expressive instruments, capable of conveying a wide range of emotions and intentions. And just like our body language, our voices can betray us when we're trying to hide the truth. Liars often exhibit subtle but noticeable changes in their voice tone, pitch, and volume that can provide clues to their deception. Think about it. When you're relaxed and confident, your voice tends to be steady and even. But when you're nervous, stressed, or trying to deceive, your voice can fluctuate in ways you might not even be aware of. One common vocal cue of deception is a higher pitch. When people lie, their vocal cords often tighten, causing their voices to rise in pitch. This physiological response is an involuntary reaction to the stress of lying, and it can be a telltale sign that someone is uncomfortable with the truth. Another vocal giveaway is a change in volume. Some liars speak more softly when they lie, as if trying to avoid detection. Others, however, might speak louder than usual, as if trying to overcompensate for their nervousness. Any sudden or dramatic changes in volume, especially during a sensitive conversation, should raise red flags. Liars might also exhibit vocal tremors or shakiness in their voices. This trembling is a sign of anxiety and fear, and it can be a dead giveaway that someone is uncomfortable with what they're saying. Pay close attention to any subtle quivering or wavering in someone's voice, as it could be a sign that they're struggling to maintain their composure. In addition to these vocal cues, liars might also clear their throats frequently, cough nervously, or take deep breaths. These physiological responses are all attempts to regulate their breathing and alleviate the physical symptoms of stress associated with lying. Remember, our voices are powerful indicators of our emotional state. By paying close attention to changes in voice tone, pitch, and volume, you can gain valuable insights into someone's truthfulness. So there you have it, 5 foolproof ways to spot a liar. Remember, these techniques are not foolproof, and they should be used with caution and discernment. People's behavior can vary depending on the situation, and what might seem like a sign of deception in one context could be perfectly innocent in another. It may not always be easy to detect a lie, but thanks to these 5 tips, you will have a much better chance of distinguishing right from wrong. Remember, body language and behaviors say much more than words. By paying attention to these subtle cues, you'll sharpen your instincts and become more adept at reading people. And who knows, your newfound skills might just help you navigate the complexities of human interaction with greater confidence and awareness.